An ongoing lawsuit. Find out the latest in a 4-year case against Elon.
Looking back 50 years, the university is changing, but one thing remains the same.
Coming up later on in the show, I'll introduce you to Calvin and a couple of his other friends.
I'm Scarlett Fakar.
And I'm Jason Puckett. Phoenix 14 News starts right now. First on Phoenix 14, a popular 24-hour convenience store was cited this weekend by North Carolina alcohol law enforcement.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. The Kangaroo on Haggard and Williamson was cited for selling alcohol to minors. According to Karen Webb, the person who oversaw the investigation, a police-trained teen entered the store and successfully purchased alcohol underage.
The Kangaroo was the only store in Elon to receive a violation during the operation. Liz and Ed's Mini Mart and Marathon Station both passed the test. Phoenix 14 reached out to Kangaroo and campus police but have not heard back yet. Stick with us for more as this story continues to develop.
A civil suit that started 4 years ago between a former student and the university is now being decided by the North Carolina Court of Appeals. David Hodges has been following this story and joins us with more. David?
Former Elon student John Lee Meinhardt was watching from a wheelchair in the courthouse in Raleigh as attorneys argued over just who is responsible for his paralyzing injury. And it all started at a party here at this house behind me on Lee Street in 2007. At the time, members of the Lambda Chi Alpha fraternity were living there, and in 2008, Meinhardt filed a suit against some of the people involved, their fraternity, and Elon University as well. And Meinhardt argues that Elon is at fault because the school has certain policies about Greek, including how to be safe, not hazing, and of course, in this case, prohibiting off-campus events. The Meinhardt attorney is largely basing his argument off of the Davidson versus UNC case in which a Chapel Hill student sued the UNC school system after she received suffered brain damage from a cheer incident. In that case, the North Carolina Court of Appeals ruled that UNC did have a responsibility to provide care to a student in a student organization or that was sponsored by a university event. But the justices for the Meinhardt versus Elon case weren't exactly sold by the Meinhardt camp's oral arguments.
Excuse me, the Davidson court said that there were limits of the special relationship.
Judge, and the plaintiffs agree with that. The plaintiffs agree that there are limits. But we don't believe that we fall under those limits as a matter of law.
But this person was a cheerleader, and it was a school-sponsored event in the Davidson case.
Meinhardt's attorney is pleading that the case should not just be heard by judges, but by a jury. Of course, we reached out to attorneys for both Elon and for Meinhardt. Both of them said it'd be inappropriate to comment until the case was finished. But no matter how it ends up, your heart just has to go out for John Lee Meinhardt, who's paralyzed from the neck down from this incident and probably will be for the rest of his life. Live from along Lee Street, David Hodges, Phoenix 14 News.
Today marks the 5-year anniversary of the Virginia Tech shooting. The shooting left 32 victims and the gunman dead. This was the largest mass shooting in U.S. history. The Virginia Tech community gathered this morning at midnight for a candlelight vigil to remember the lives that were lost. Our thoughts are out for the Virginia Tech today.
Lock your cars and hold on to your valuables. According to police reports, at least 8 cars were broken into this weekend. Some cars were parked on Woodell Avenue and others were in the parking lot of the Trellinger Apartments. The items stolen added up to about $2,000. Elontown police are currently investigating the crime. Stay with Phoenix 14 as we continue to learn more.
With 22 days until the May 8th primary in North Carolina, Republicans, Democrats, and Libertarians are fighting to have their voices heard. But as our Joe Bruno reports, their voices have no impact without a motivated college vote.
I'm showing other young folks, you can go out there and you can do this too.
Jeremy Teeter is a 23-year-old Elon grad and a Democratic candidate for Alamance County Commissioner. At the Alamance County Democratic Convention, candidates urged young adults to get out and vote.
Your vote is really worth more in these kind of low turnout elections than the big ones.
Democratic candidates came together to nominate delegates and rally in support of the May 8th primary.
Our children are going to look to us 5 and 10 years down the road and say, what did you do, Mom, Dad, and Granddad? How did we get in this situation? Why didn't we stop this when we had a chance? And I hope you'll be able to say, I gave it everything that I had.
Alamance County Democrats met here in downtown Burlington. However, in Greensboro, conservatives had a rally of their own.
But the young people are here. In the end, elections ought to be about the future of their country and what kind of an America they're going to inherit when they grow up.
Conservatives for Guilford County and members of the Tea Party movement may not agree with Democrats on all the issues. However, they do agree on the necessity of the college vote.
The young people's the future of the country. It's their country, and if they don't get active, they're going to lose this country.
Recent college graduate Faith Wright believes this year is the most important year to vote ever.
I really believe that this election, the year 2012, is very important for especially college students because that pulls their ideas of what they want their country to be like for the remaining years of their life.
But I'm grateful you came out today.
Joe Bruno, Phoenix 14 News.
Voting registration is over, but if you missed the deadline, you may register in person, then vote at a one-stop absentee voting site in Alamance County on May 8th. Phoenix14News.wordpress.com is your website for election 2012. Check out our website for more information on this story and to learn more about the candidates.
One of the most talked about issues in the upcoming North Carolina election is Amendment 1, also known as the Marriage Amendment. The amendment would legally define marriage as between one man and one woman. Phoenix 14 got the opportunity to hear different views on the amendments this weekend at the political conventions.
Just stepping in to affect, the lives of other people in North Carolina in a positive way. That could be sort of your footprint in North Carolina, even if you don't stay here and you go back to Massachusetts or New Jersey or wherever, that you had a positive impact on North Carolina and helped to push it in a positive direction.
And I believe that that marriage is a union between one man and one woman, and that is one reason why people should get out and vote this year, if not any other year, in the primaries, because it's not going to be on the general election, it's going to be on the May 8th ballot.
According to the most recent Elon poll, a majority of North Carolina residents are opposed to adding the amendment. 6 out of 10 North Carolinians are against banning same-sex marriages, domestic partnerships, and civil unions. The poll also found an increase in support for the full same-sex marriage rights. Elon students have also been taking an active role in the Amendment 1 debate. Spectrum, Elon's LGBTQ awareness group, hosted a vote against photo shoot, a voter registration drive, and are currently hosting Pride Week. Vice President Laura Lee Sturm says that the best thing students can do is be informed.
I just encourage people to really look into Amendment 1 and understand all of the consequences, not just what it's being marketed as, whether that's, a protection of marriage or the anti-gay amendment. Really look at all of the consequences.
Here's what's happening with the college consumer tonight. Loans, scholarships, and grants, all ways students can get help paying tuition. Now a new site is making financial aid into fun and games. Julie Morse is in the studio to tell us more.
Thanks, Scarlett. Grant2 is a website where students can play trivia games to win money for tuition. Elon is one of 40 schools nationwide that participates in the online grant program. Elon student Ali Abrodovich is an intern for the site. Students can win between $50 and $5,000. And yes, the money is real. The actual cash is donated by companies looking to gain visibility on college campuses. But you will never see that actual money. In order to keep the reward set for educational use, Grant2 sends the money directly to your college or university. And the students aren't the only ones who are benefiting. This site also encourages giving back. Each winner is required to donate at least 10% of their prize to the cause of their choice.
Not only creating brand power with the big companies that sponsor it, because they're the ones that give you the opportunity to donate and pay off your college bills, but you're making a difference just by signing on and playing a game that's so fun that you probably play anyway.
Visit grant2.com tonight at 9 for your chance to join the fun. Looking out for the college consumer, I'm Julie Morris.
Planning on staying at Elon this summer? Residence Life and the Campus Shop are currently hiring students to work during the summer, along with other campus groups. All on-campus jobs pay $9 an hour, and some offer on-campus housing. Be sure to check out the job listing section on eNet for more information.
With all the construction in North area, the WSOE radio tower needs to be moved. Right now, the 70-foot tower remains outside of Hardin Dining Hall. WSOE General Manager Sierra Ferrier says there are 3 options. Move the current tower near the Health Sciences Building, get a new 150-foot tower after construction is over, or get a smaller tower and place that on top of Mosley. Ferrier told us what would happen to WSOE if a larger tower was purchased.
Really what it would do is that the station would be able to run much more efficiently. You would hear a clear sound from a little farther away, and it would just be better. So, I mean, if you're driving around in Burlington, you'll be able to hear us loud and clear.
Elon University is changing, but many alumni remember the school when it was called a college and the mascot was the Fighting Christian. Our Allison DeMora has the story.
The bus stopped right down at the corner of Williamson and Haggard and Dr. Daniel Emetbe. You either had to come by train or bus.
Joe Watts Williams has seen a lot of changes at Elon since the 1950s when she started her college career.
In 1950, Alumni Gym was built. It was the first major building outside the wall.
Williams says that Elon looked a lot different back then. The campus only stretched from West Dormitory through Alamance and ended at Mooney. The library was in downstairs Carlton. Mooney was home to the bookstore and a jukebox for entertainment. What students know now as Town Table was called Elon Grill.
The fountain in front of Alamance today is one of the most notable spots on campus. But more than half a century ago, students used to be able to park their cars right here.
In the front, a circular front and back. And that's where the day students park.
John and Dolores Truitt were both day students at Elon in the 1950s. They look back fondly on their days as Fighting Christians.
It was close, you know, and it was delightful.
As the school grew, the campus changed. But these alumni believe that the Elon spirit has stayed the same.
Not that much has changed in the values that we treasure. We still treasure community.
And there's something about Elon, I really can't put my finger on it, but that spirit still exists today.
Allison DeMora, Phoenix 14 News.
Coming up on Phoenix 14 News.
It wasn't just
a special dinner, singing, and dressing up, all to remember something that happened 100 years ago.
Duke gave me the ability to walk and dance and have a great life, so I can stand for 24 hours.
I'm Brandon Marshall. Coming up on Phoenix 14, I'll show you why these Elon students are dancing for a cause.
You don't have to study abroad in Africa to get 5 feet away from a lion. Coming up, I'll tell you about a local experience that you should check out before you graduate.
It's 24 hours of dancing, all for a good cause. Elon-thon raises money for children in need at Duke's Children's Hospital. Our Brandon Marshall has the story.
11-year-old Josh Holder suffers from tyrosinemia type 1, a rare form of liver disease.
I'm missing an enzyme to break down protein, so I can't really eat protein.
Holder is the only child in North Carolina with the disease. He shared his story about being helped by Duke Children's Hospital with Elon for the last 5 years. For Elon senior Jackie Serrani, she knows what it's like being a patient at Duke Children's Hospital.
My dad noticed that my legs were 2 different lengths, so I was called a leg length discrepancy. My right leg's longer than my left leg.
As an 11-year-old child, Serrani says having surgery was terrifying.
It was the end of the world. I couldn't go to dance. I couldn't walk around at school. In reality, I was in the hospital for one night. I had a cast on for about 3 or 4 months.
She remembers the difficulties of being a patient, but what really sticks out is a talk she had with a fellow patient.
Seeing the girl next door who has cancer come next to me, in my room, just be like, hey, how are you? I'm having a great day, and I was like, I guess my day is pretty good too.
And students don't have to dance for all 24 hours. They can choose to dance for a minimum of 6 up to 24. There's even video games and live entertainment throughout the event to keep students moving, which is what Serrani loves. But most of all, she loves to dance.
I'm able to give back to the hospital that really helped me so much. I just love it, and I love dancing, so it's fun.
Serrani says raising money is wonderful, but knowing that you can personally connect to the children is even better. Brandon Marshall, Phoenix 14 News.
Serrani personally raised more than $1,100 for Duke's Children's Hospital. Elon-thon itself collected a total of about $105,000.
1 in 88 U.S. children have autism spectrum disorders, according to research from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That's a 23% increase from 2006 through 2008. Alpha Xi Delta hosted the Step It Up 5K run Sunday afternoon to raise awareness and money for Autism Speaks. Elon community members and 160 sorority members ran through the South Campus intramural fields. Participant Morgan Kimball's cousin has autism, and she says raising awareness is as important as raising money.
Autism is something that's overlooked, and I think that a lot of people don't really know a lot about it, and they don't really know that the spirit and the energy that can come from kids like this.
Alpha Xi Delta raised more than $3,000 through Sunday's 5K event for Autism Speaks.
The Elon community may be young, but there's another community right outside campus of a different age group. Adopt a Grandparent brings Elon students to Blakely Hall Retirement Community twice a month. The connection students make with the residents lead them to adopt a grandparent, where they spend quality time with one resident from as little as 1 week to every day. Caroline McSwain, the coordinator of Adopt a Grandparent, told us about her experience with the program.
It's just a great way to make new relationships and meet people that aren't your same age and at your same school. So it's really been eye-opening and really refreshing.
The jungle animals of Africa are a little closer than you might think. Don Grenice takes us to a place where lions roam that's not so far away.
Lions and tigers and bear cats. We didn't have to go to the jungle to find these creatures. Just half an hour from campus is the Conservator Center.
That's our wolf pack.
Julia Wagner is just one of the pack.
We are a family. You can't do work this hard without being bonded to the people that you're working with.
As the director of outreach, Wagner introduces the human public to her animal friends. The center started giving public tours 5 years ago.
Tours are a huge part of what we do here, and the money that comes in from those goes directly into supporting our animals.
Now entire families can come to see creatures like singing dogs, lazy lynx, and a couple of sunbathing ring-tailed lemurs.
But one of the biggest attractions here at the center are the big cats, whether they're eating lunch or taking a nap.
Oh! Even when he's asleep, one of those cats has a personality as big as his paws.
Arthur White Tiger, who is napping behind me, is our rock star.
Thanks to a class at Elon, kids can take home the story of Arthur and his lioness friend, Kira.
We have 2 books in our gift shop, Symbiosis, which is a coffee table book, and Arthur and Kira, which is a children's book, both of which were developed, designed, and published by Elon students.
Whether it's writing a book, making a donation, or simply taking a tour, anything helps to improve the lives of these animals that Julia and the rest of her staff have become so attached to.
It's long hours, it's hard work, but the benefit that you get is that you know that every single day what you're doing makes a difference for the animals you love.
Don Grenice, Phoenix 14 News.
Still to come on Phoenix 14 News. One high-stepping student is using social media to make her dreams come true.
100 years later, people gather together to remember a tragedy.